What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode. Coach Joe here with Heartletics.com. I'm joined with Coach Jimmy and Coach Mark. And today we're going to be talking all about the first steps to helping you guys reach your goals. This is going to be a good one. As we know that there's so many people out there that's trying to lose weight, trying to burn body fat. We don't want you guys to fail at it. I mean, we were just literally talking right before we started recording today's podcast about all these different things out there like keto, Weight Watchers, paleo, and how even most gyms know that, hey, at the end of the day, it's very easy to sell a package, sell a membership, sell anything, knowing that somebody realistically is going to regain all that weight right back. And we don't want that to happen. So why don't we talk about this before we dive into reaching your goals? Why don't we all kind of go around the room, use some personal examples about, what have we tried before in the past, trying to lose weight, but we haven't really had success with. That way, in case somebody's listening, they could say like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I tried that too. Or, hey, I'm thinking about trying that, but Coach Mark said this, Coach Jimmy said this, and maybe realistically, that's not the best option for me. Coach Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and start, brother?
Yeah, man, it's more like what didn't I try before? But the things I tried the most were, low carb, intermittent fasting. I did keto a little bit, Weight Watchers, things like that. I think what I probably went to the most was low carb or intermittent fasting. And low carb, you do that, you lose weight. Of course, you're losing weight. You're getting all the water out of your body, if you know the science behind it. So it's not sustainable though, because who can live without eating carbs? I know I can't. But once you start eating the carbs again, that weight comes right back on. And then when you gain the weight back, you're like, oh, I gained it back. Let me try it again. And you go back to doing the same thing because it worked before. But what you're not realizing is I gained the weight back because I couldn't sustain that. So therefore that diet, that program or whatever you're doing failed. And I just think it's the mindset about, how weight loss works, health works. I just think people, including myself, don't think about it as, let me do something where I'm gaining the knowledge to sustain me for the rest of my life and create healthy habits. Yeah. And I think that's where guys fail and keep going back to these fad diets.
Yeah, you said that beautifully, man. And in fact, Albert Einstein, he said it best. He said, the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results. And I feel like that's what a lot of guys revert to. It's like, hey, just cut out their carbs, right? Because they don't know the science that, hey, you're just losing water weight, right? And so at the end of the day, it's like that shiny object syndrome because they cut out their carbs, they see the number on the scale go down, and they think they're losing body fat, when realistically they're just losing water weight. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's the mindsets. And I think that most people should want to learn, right? Everybody's different, right? Like I'm different from you guys. You guys are different from me. Everybody's different from each other, right? All different body types, all different goals. And so learning how to properly eat and train for your body, I mean, that's the knowledge right there. We always say Heartletics, like our motto really is like, hey, maybe you heard the phrase, somebody can give you a fish and feed you for a day, or somebody can teach you how to fish and feed you for the rest of your life. Coach Mark, what about you, brother? What's all the different things that you've actually tried to lose weight before in the past?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what Jimmy was saying, I've tried them all, but I'd say there's kind of two main categories, right? So there's the things that, where you're given their own food, right? You're given prepackaged food, things like Nutrisystem, Jenny Craig, and those, I mean, like they're really not fun because the food is awful, but also you're not really learning anything because you're given prepackaged food and told what to eat. And then you're not learning going forward. So yeah, you may lose weight while you're doing that, but as soon as you stop buying their food, you don't know, you haven't learned anything as far as sustaining that going forward. And then you just put it back on and either, go back to them or like Jimmy was saying, or go find the next, fad to try. And then the other end of that is, stuff that was so restrictive that you basically destroyed your metabolism. I mean, something like, whatchamacallit, Slim Fast, which I was doing, prior to Heartletics, where I was, doing a shake for breakfast, shake for lunch, quote unquote sensible dinner. I was starving, didn't really see much progress because my metabolism was shot, so I wasn't burning any fat. So I think that the difference between those things and us is that we're teaching you sustainability and how to move forward.
Yeah. And what happens? Because obviously you guys had two different training programs, two different meal plans that you had to follow through with, because obviously two different lifestyles, two different, everything, right? Taste buds, preferences, everything. Jimmy, starting off weight to finishing weight, how was the success of learning how to properly eat and train for your body type and goals?
The success, well, I started out at 430 pounds. I got down to 300 pounds within a year. So, I mean, the success was off the charts. And, it was just awesome learning how to eat for my body, but also able to enjoy the foods that I like at the same time, while having a program and habits that I can fit into my lifestyle and my schedule that works for me, and enjoy the workouts. I like lifting weights, and that my program's based around lifting weights, progressive overload. So, it's very easy to sustain things that you like to do. So, and that's the big part of the success.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And Mark, what about you, man? What was the habits that you learned and what was the success that you got?
I mean, as far as success, I came into Heartletics at 257 pounds, and currently I hover in the 167, 168 range. So the success is like, undeniable there. But as far as habits, I mean, I'm a completely different person on every level than I was, prior to finding Heartletics, from being a non-physical guy to someone who, looks forward to every workout, to, working heavily on, mindset, meditation, positivity, to just a completely new way of eating, but not one that's restrictive or unenjoyable, just a smart way of eating. When you talk about how custom it is, I personally, just out of personal preference, I don't eat red meat. It was never an issue. Like, meal plans and everything were totally customized to work that way, and it was just easy.
I love that. I love hearing that. And so now let's walk somebody through, the process, because as you guys know, right, as coaches, we get hit up so much with, hey, what's the cost? And, like, let me just get signed up, or, let me just get started. And as you guys know, right, like Jimmy, you had to go through your own personal transformation. Mark, you had to go through your own personal transformation. Everybody at Heartletics has to go through their own personal transformation. And so typically we always tell this to guys, hey, we have a free fat loss guide that you can simply download over Heartletics, going over how to burn body fat, how to lose weights. We even have a free coaching tutorial video going over that as well. But the guys that are really, they want to take it to the next level. Maybe they want, all the guesswork taken off their plates. Maybe they want something a little personalized for them. Or maybe, hey, they realize here that they want coaches, right? They don't want cheerleaders that's going to tell them what they want to hear. They want coaches that's going to tell them what they need to hear. Maybe they want accountability. Maybe they want that support. Maybe they want the community, because as you guys know, the wolf pack, I mean, that's probably the bread and butter to the established and the foundation of Heartletics. But so somebody hears all this and somebody's like, okay, I want to go through the next steps. I want to apply for coaching to see if it's a good fit for me. Why don't we walk the viewers through what does that actually look like? Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and start, brother?
Sure. So, first, once you're interested in Heartletics and you see an ad or something wherever you see it from on social media, you'll get to download the free fat loss guide and go through that. And then you can go to sign up for a discovery call. It'll give you a link to that. Once you do that, you sign up for the discovery call, you'll get sent over an application form to fill out. And you want to fill that out and send that in. And what that does, it gives us information on you, and tells us a little bit about, what your goals are, what you've done in the past, and, where you're at health-wise, physically. So, we have an idea of where you're at. And then you'll get sent over some homework videos to watch, that goes over the program, tells you everything you need to know about what's going to happen on the call, tells you everything about the program, what to expect. then some podcasts to watch that like this one we're doing now, and some other videos that we have done. And then you can expect a personal message from Coach Joe going over, giving you like a free assessment on your application form.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that absolutely. So guys would basically go through either downloading the free fat loss guide or just going to heartletics.com, and just scheduling a free discovery call. And how that works is just like what Jimmy says, they pick out a good day, a good time on whatever best suits their schedule. And then from there, they just simply just go through this application form. And the reason why this application form is so important is because, at the end of the day, it does really two things, just like what Coach Jimmy said. One, it's giving us vital information. We can't tell you, right, and preach about it on almost every podcast and every video that we do about this being all personalized for you unless we know you, right? So this application form is going to go over, hey, past and current injuries, days of the week for training that best suits your schedule, different things like, whether you work out in the gym or whether you work out at home with or without equipment. Walk us through a typical day of eating, for you and your family, busy schedule, your occupation, all these different things, body fat percentage, goals. And so it does really two things from there. One, we can really see if we can help somebody out even before the call. It's like, okay, hey, are they following through? Or are they just giving us one word answers like, hey, what are your goals? I just want to lose some weight. Like, okay, so there's nothing really specific about this. Like, how serious are you about this? Oh, I'm kind of serious, right? It's just like we can kind of see if somebody's either going to be a good fit before the call even happens. But the second thing it really does, it gives Mark, right, and Coach Katrina really good information to say, okay, hey, if this person does make it through the qualification process, here's our data. So that way almost immediately, and Mark does such a great job, as soon as they get signed up for coaching, that's when it's just like, boom, like within 24 to 48 hours, they already have their meal plan done. They already have their workouts already programmed for them, and it's all personalized for them, which really helps out. Let's talk a little bit, obviously, like, yes, I send them over a personal video going over their application form, really just kind of qualifying them even before they have their call with you guys. But why don't we do this to kind of help out the viewers? What would you say are some key things that make somebody feel like they're a good fit for coaching from a coach's perspective, and somebody that is, let's say, they're not a good fit? We can kind of see already, like, hey, maybe they're just kind of wasting our time here, where it might be best, since we get hundreds of people that apply for our coaching program, to maybe just dequalify them right there before even moving forward. Mark, why don't you start off, brother? What would you say makes somebody a bad fit and then a good fit?
I mean, right off the bat, the thing that gives us an indicator of being a bad fit is if they don't watch, the instruction videos, the personal messages that we send over. If they're not engaging, with the material that we're sending, then clearly that's a sign that there's not, that level of involvement. But then moving forward too, right, looking at the form itself, it's if it's quick one-word answers just to get the form done, not like really giving us the information that we need to help them, then that's an indicator as well that, something's not lining up right. And then, as far as like a good fit, how we know that someone is a good fit, when we talk to them and we see that there's a deep rooted why for this commitment, not just, I mean, yes, we want to help you look good at the beach, and that's a part of what we do for sure. But we go deeper than that. We're looking for people who really want to make that full life transformation, to be the best version of themselves. So when we see that, when we see open-mindedness, right, that they're willing to kind of step out of their comfort zone, try some things that they may be contrary to what they've tried before or what they've heard before. Because if you're kind of locked into your preset template, it's gonna be hard for us to guide you and coach you. You have to be coachable.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jimmy, what about you, man? What would you say?
Yeah, I'd say as far as being a bad fit, right off the bat, like Mark said, the one word answers and like that. But also, when me or Mark try to once we get assigned a call, we try to make contact with the person and build a rapport, and sometimes you don't get a response back right then and there. Okay, this guy may not be a good fit. He's not, how serious is he? He's not responding. Another indicator is all they talk about is the price. And what's the price? What's the price? What do I get? What, instead of, let's see what this program is about and how can it help me? Those are big indicators to me that it's not a good fit, and they're kind of just looking for something to lose a few pounds and don't know the why. They don't have their why yet. Guys that are a good fit, you can really tell because they're engaged, they're serious, they're responding to you right away, they're sending their pictures over right away, they're open-minded, like Coach Mark said, and they're just engaged in the process, really eager and excited for the call. Those guys are really the good fits. And then there's guys that are in between where you kind of got to guide them to it, where they're a good fit, but they're not sure, they're on the fence, and you kind of got to guide them and give them all the information they need.
Yeah, I would agree with both of you guys. As far as like it being not a good fit, one for sure, if they're not like, they've put on the application form 1-word answers, I can just tell like they're not serious. Mark, like what you said, they're just trying to get it over and done with, and that's it. And these are the guys that typically they don't watch the homework videos, they don't know anything about it, and these are the guys that don't even pick up, right? And they dequalify themselves going forward too. It's not just like, hey, they blew their shot right there and then. It's just like we keep notes of everybody that applies for coaching, right? And so there's guys that hit us up from, every few months, like, hey, now's the time, now's the time. Well, it wasn't the time 6 months ago when you ghosted us, right? Like we remember all that stuff, but I feel like what really makes somebody a bad fit is just like what you say, Jimmy, is just like, hey, they go through messaging me, they go through, applying for coaching, and they're all serious, they're all amped up. But then, I assign them to either you or Coach Mark, and they just don't even reply to you guys. They don't even pick up your phone calls. And it's just like, this is the coach that you're actually going to be talking to. That's going to be qualifying you to actually see if it's a good fit. Like they're kind of digging their own grave almost. Now, on the flip side, who are the guys that are great fits? In my opinion, the guys that send me over their progress photos before the call. And it's a simple application form that's questioning, asking them, hey, here's some current body fat percentages. Where are you at right now? Where are you trying to get to? And hey, do you feel comfortable sending me over a photo so I can see what you look like currently right now? And it does two things. One, I want to actually see if they put down 30, 35% body fat, like, are they actually there or do they think they're there? They might be higher or they might be lower. But the second thing is just like, hey, I want to start feeding that good wolf immediately before they get signed up for coaching, because I want to see like, okay, hey, sending a photo, especially if you don't like the way that you look and you're uncomfortable in your own skin, sending a photo with yourself with your shirt off to a random stranger that you're talking to over the internet isn't exactly the funnest thing to do. But hey, at the end of the day, like anything in life worth having, it's going to require you being uncomfortable and stepping outside your comfort zone. And so I really want to see like, hey, can these guys follow through with direction? Are they coachable from the start? And so I would say that's what really justifies it. Sal, I want to use him for example. Mark, you talked to him. That was a great call. And I think what made him a great fit was one, he wanted to talk to you even before the scheduled call. He's like, hey, man, I don't want to wait any longer. Like, let's just get this out of the way. But at the same time, I mean, you guys are building rapport, talking about like family, horror movies. Like, obviously, you guys being in New York. It's just like, that's what we want guys to understand is just like, you're not talking to a sales rep. You're talking to somebody that actually just wants to get to know you, right? Plain and simple, and get to know you on that personal note, because that's what coaching is. It's relationship building, So now let's talk about this, fellas, as we wrap up the podcast. Let's go into, hey, somebody's a good fit. We get them enrolled, right? What's the next steps? Like, hey, Mark, let's say they're talking to you and, they're like, okay, hey, this is a good fit, like sign me up, register me. What's the next steps from there? I mean, is it just like, hey, we sign them up and peace out, Girl Scout, or is it really the guidance and the process of helping them also from there on out?
Yeah, no, the guidance literally starts right there on that phone call when they decide to sign up, because at that point, Jimmy or I are showing them, how to download the app, to kind of get in there, to get immediately involved in the community group, because you always say that people who are, involved in the community group the most get the most out of the program. So we want you in there immediately introducing yourself. We also, you're going to get the meal plan form on that same, email right away that you get. That's going to prompt you to, give us all your preferences, what you can eat, can't eat, what you like, types of foods you like, so that we can build that meal plan custom to you. And then you're going to schedule right then and there a call with me, which is the onboarding call. And we give you, take a day or two to get you programmed out as far as your workouts, your meal plan, get a little familiar with what's going on in the app and the community group. And then you get on that call with me, and I'm going to give you all the best practices to reach your goals. I'm going to go over what your goals are. I'm going to go over how to attain them, how the strategies work for your particular plan. We're going to look at your individual meal plan and what it means to you, how to use it. We're going to look at how to use the app to keep track of your foods, and we make it really sustainable and easy. I'm going to show you, this is how you save your favorite meals, so that once you do it one time, they're in the app going forward. It's really easy to reuse. This is how you save some of the favorite ingredients or items that you use to a shorter list, so you're not playing around, because we want this to be quick and easy and sustainable. We don't want you, clicking buttons all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. We know a lot of people, they feel, overwhelmed, right? Anytime they have to start something new. And so we just make that transition so seamless and very easy. And then from there, right? Like Coach Jimmy, we'll go to you next, right? Let's say, you help somebody, schedule the onboarding call with Coach Mark. You're guiding them through that process, and you're also in that group message thread with them as well, to where, they have 24/7 support to me on a personal note. They have access to all the coaches right there. They have access to the community group 24/7. But then Coach Jimmy, you're also following back up with them after a few weeks, just to ensure, like, hey man, everything good? Like, what can we do to kind of help them out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So like Coach Mark said, you'll have your onboarding call with him, and then you're gone for a few weeks, you're getting the feel of the program, learning everything, and then I'll follow back up with you about 2 weeks, and we'll see how it's going, how everything's working, making sure the plans are working for you. It's what it's what you're looking for. If there's any issues, we'll go over everything, and just to make sure that you're having a great experience and that you're seeing progress and it's what you were looking for. And that's really what we want. We want you to enjoy the process while you're having success, and just being engaged with us. And that's the most important thing, keeping in constant communication with us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like us as the coaches, we're always reaching out. I mean, think about it, from getting them, applied and registered, right? Let's say they're talking to you, Jimmy, you're on there, you're registering them up, you're going through that process. And then immediately as they get done filling out the meal plan form, they're then going to talk to Coach Mark, maybe after a few days, whatever best suits their schedule, going over everything. And then, the following week, right, they're really starting, the process from start to finish, right? Talking eventually to Coach Brett, going over their mindset, seeing the weekly meal plans from Coach Katrina, seeing the weekly, check-ins from Coach Brian, right? And then eventually talking to me about the goal setting. And so it's really cool to kind of see. And I always like to tell guys is like, think about it nowadays, right? Most guys are in their 40s to 60s that apply for a coaching program. And these guys can drive a car, right, with the stereo playing, drive a car text, right, have the time to drive to work and not even realize how they got there. Why? Because it's a habit. It's part of their routine. That's how we make prep, right? Prep is 4 weeks where, hey, it's about 30 days to making sure that even beginning day one of officially starting, it's like you're in driving school all over again, right? You have the instructor right there. You're taking down the written exam. You're getting your temps, and then what? Right? You're abandoned parking lots, learning how to drive the car with your driving instructor, and then before you go to the freeway, you're obviously out on the streets. Just going through the maneuverability, making sure it's all safe. You're building up your confidence, right? More and more and more, to where eventually, hey, you get to that freeway. Sure, you're scared, you're nervous a little bit, but then it's very easy to where now, like I said, you're in your 40s or 60s. You don't need a driving instructor next to you. That's how we make it, teaching you how to eat properly, teaching you how to train properly for your body type of goals, to where you don't need somebody giving you something. Hey, you have to do this. Hey, you have to do this. You understand. It's that knowledge. And that's that transition that we like to make it so easy for people. Let's do this next. Obviously everybody knows, right? We have a free fat loss guide over at Heartletics, a free coaching tutorial video going over everything from start to finish, the 7 essential fat loss habits for success. But what if somebody is, let's say, looking for the next steps to either making a call or they already scheduled that call? What's some advice that we can give them as we wrap things up? Coach Mark, let's start with you.
If you already scheduled your call or you're in that process, right? Try and engage as much as possible in the Facebook group. Try and watch as much as possible Coach Joe's podcasts or these podcasts. Basically, you really want to familiarize yourself with Heartletics as much as possible, so that you get the most out of that call. That it's most of that time is spent on the meat and potatoes, so to speak. And not kind of going over the basics that you can get from watching that material beforehand.
Yeah, I love that. And what if somebody was on the fence? Think about scheduling a call.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you are on the fence, there's no reason not to schedule a call. You're going to learn something just by having that call. And the best possible outcome is you're going to, begin these steps of the best transformation in your life. I always tell everyone, I'll say it again, family is the best thing that ever happened to me. Heartletics is the second.
I love that. Coach Jimmy, what if somebody already scheduled a call? What's some piece of advice that you would give to them?
Yeah, well, the first thing would be to make sure you're watch all the videos that are sent over to you. It's very important. Make sure you're responding or engaging with me or Coach Mark or Coach Joe when we send you over messages. If you have any questions at all, we have no problem answering them. Just shoot. You want to have as much knowledge as you can going into the call, so you know what Heartletics is about. The last thing I think, and an important thing for us, for you to qualify, is think about what your why is. If you don't know what it is, think about that. Really, what's the reason you want this? What do you want to make the change for? What's your motivation? That's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you tell somebody that's on the fence? Think about scheduling a call.
If you're on the fence, obviously you're looking at us because you've tried things in the past and it didn't work. So basically you can go back to that and do it again and not work and still look. But listen, this is something different. This is something that's going to be personalized for you. I mean, it's just for you. Everybody has their own different plan that works for them. And you're going to gain knowledge on how to sustain this. Does any other program teach you the right way to eat for your body type, how to train the right way no, they just tell you do this, do that. So you're going to gain this knowledge and carry that with you the rest of your life. And there's nothing out there like that. So just go through with the free call, see what it's about, how personable we are. And, from there, you're going to change your life.
I love it. I love it. Guys, I really hope that you guys got some value from today's episode. Once again, this has been Coach Joe, Coach Mark, Coach Jimmy with the Heartletics podcast. And as always, we'll talk to you guys next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.